Alright guys, let's run through some stocks. So I'll start with INF. This is the one I've taken 10 grand position in the other day at 11 cents. Basically I was just seeing that it was starting to build pressure right at the neckline here of a potential breakout or pivot point. So the cup there, cup and handle here was the handle which failed. We saw that. Wasn't back to the volume necessary to push it into the 2-year highs, and it formed this rectangle here, which it started to look more and more like a symmetrical triangle, and we see the buy pressures really picked up here, and it closed up at 11.5 cents, even with a seller with 1.4 million shares popping up at the last minute. They just got soaked into, so it was pretty good to see it still close at 11.5 cents with this kind of buy pressure. So INF, I'm pretty confident on breaking out. My target's about 15 cents with the swing rule. So between 15 and 16 cents, something like this is where I'll be looking for it to move to. A sell would be going down to the downside of this symmetrical triangle here. Okay, so we'll see how that plays out. EMH looking really good. So it broke out this channel here it was in, and into again, it was like 2-year or 18-month highs rather. Broke out, and if we look back here, see this gap here. We can see why that gap existed. Where was that gap? Here, right? So there wasn't many people which had previously bought at this kind of price. So that explains as also why it moved quite the way it did so explosively. It just went pop. And it's kind of settled on this zone here between 60, 64, 70 cents here. And this, to me, if we look at this on the 2-hourly, and we can see what that's looking like there. That's a nice bull pennant there forming here. It's just we're kind of missing that flagpole just because the breakout was so abrupt. But this is looking good to me. And just one last thing as well about EMH. We had a lot of sell pressure, so there's a lot of volume on this day, which ended up being a red day. But buyer still stepped in. There's a long shadow on that candle here, pushing it right back to a 68 cent close. So EMH is one that I'll be looking to take a position in soon, especially considering it's 5 times larger than INF's resource, by far the largest hard rock lithium resource, and it's still only got a market cap of 110 million. So still cheap days for EMH. What else we look at? We look at ADN. ADN's just gone fucking crazy. So an ascending scallop move here. It got as high as 30 cents. That's pretty unbelievable how far it's moved from 5 cents to 30 cents in such a short space of time. But a pullback with an ascending scallop move would be about the depth of this cup here. If we just multiply on top of that, we'd be looking at like 22, 23 cents would be the kind of pullback that we might expect with sell pressure from profit taking off of that move. So 22, 23 cents, that kind of zone here is where you'd be looking to maybe add to your position, seeing what happens. I still don't hold ADN. I'm kicking myself and not buying. I've been watching the charts. It's been beautiful the whole way through. We go to PLS. PLS has become a buy, and look at this volume here. That's huge volume all of a sudden. It's another third larger on average than what we've been seeing. And what's interesting is where that volume occurred. So I was right at this 52 cent. That was my target here for it, and it's just been uptrending here, and it's broken above that trend line. It cleared 8 cents. 8 cent move today, so it's up 17.48%. And we look back here at where resistance might be. So if we look at on the chart here, so here is say 52, and here is 60 cents. So pretty light here. I'd call that fairly light overhead resistance, which we've seen with that kind of move. and I'd say the next zone of overhead resistance is going to be 68.70 cents. So it's looking good to me for another 10 cents 10-cent move. The way it's looking pretty strong right now. So PLS to me has become a buy again. Whether you buy right now after a move like that, it's hard to say. I'd probably wait still for it to consolidate, but it's certainly changed its tune lately, especially with looking like they're going to be picking up AGM's resource. CTM. CTM is bad timing, so it's in this downward channel here. It was looking like it was going to form like a falling wedge, and it was right pre-election. It was right here, and we had this candle here. So I brought up in this channel, which I was following, and it seemed to just break below that now, but it's just treating this holding pattern, which it was previously in, as support. So buyers are stepping in around 52, 54 cents. So what I'm looking for is a break above this trend line here, maybe back in this channel, and certainly don't want it to be falling back into here with too much sell pressure. CTM, I just halved my position recently just because I don't think it's going to be doing much in the short term, but long term I'll definitely be back into CTM with a big position. Look at NVA. This to me is really nice. Made this move, falling wedge. Here's the overhead this trend line here. Which it was respecting before it broke through it, and this kind of area here we want to close at 19.5 cents, and I think it's off. And I think with this is looking like a bit of a bull flag here. And I think it's just consolidating nicely. It's nice and tight, it's staying high, and it hasn't dropped below the 15.5 cents after such a leg up. So I think here past 9.5 cents, I think it's going to tear. And hopefully with that penny news of 32 holes, if they come in good, it should really go. My targeted minimum is 23 cents. Okay. What else I look at? VUL quickly. VUL parabolic. Smashed this overhead trend line, and there's no telling where it can go here. It got as high as $2.54. We look how far it's moved. $2.54 back in July. It was as low as 44 cents. So 20% gain for it just today. So again, this is a pretty large, I guess you'd call like an ascending scallop move. Will it retest along here somewhere? Remains to be seen, but I'm just going to continue holding Vulcan. But I think that'll do for now anyway, guys. Alright, good luck.